Yo, and we are live. We are live.
We here.
You know what it is. There he goes, drum coach.
Good people. I had to get my breakfast.
What I'm hoping, first of all, is that they can hear us. So I'm kind of waiting for some people to hop in and they can let us know if they can actually hear us. Like, last time I was much quieter, they said.
Yeah, you were pretty quiet.
Now it sounds even because he's much louder. Because I was much louder, I decided not to do my Bluetooth today, so I'm just talking straight through the phone. So hopefully, me and Sam, the bishop, the deacon, Sam Campbell, sounded as clear or as loud as Damani does. Please put it in the
definitely
comments.
Should. And I have my audio separated from you guys, so I should. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens here.
Okay. Well, let me do the intro.
Hold on. Wait. Before you do, we got somebody in here, so I'm wondering. Marcus Kemp, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Herb jumped in talking about Happy New Year. Turn up. But can you hear us? Oh my God.
Hey, you know what it is out here.
It's hers, baby.
Oh my God.
Hey, Sam gets it. Get up out your seat. Let's go.
Corona nothing.
Okay.
Let's go.
They said that they can hear all three of us clearly, but I'm a little lower, so I'm going to try to adjust that. That's what I was looking for.
Well, probably be.
What about now? Am I still lower, or can you hear me better now?
That sounds good.
Blake the Great has just jumped in. Look, I think it's so dope that the people who are hopping in we're like literally familiar with. Like we know these people.
Yes, sir. Blake, the homie great, or the homie Blake the Great, however you want to say it. Long time support.
So since we're good, go ahead, drum coach somebody, and let them know what it is, because at the end of the day, they know what it is right now. So go ahead, you can let them know that.
Oh gosh,
you know what it is.
Shout out to our sponsors, Drum Tracks app. If you don't have the app now, cut the shift. Get the app.
Hold on, real quick. My bad, bro. Marcus is saying he can't hear me that well. Is it because I'm talking farther away from the mic, or when I get closer, can you hear me better? Do I need to be up on the mic? Like, let me know if you can hear me now.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna have to speak into the mic.
Okay. It is much clearer when I do this, right?
Yeah. It's a slight distortion, but it's way better than leaning back.
Okay. What's his name? Drummer Boy 1993 just says, "Man, I was glad when they said to me." It's right. He said, "Come on in the room." I don't know about you on today, but he feels something wherever he is in his quarantine. My God, on today.
Let's go.
Well, I don't know about you, Bishop, but Jesus was quarantined for 40 days.
Oh, my.
In the wilderness to be tempted by the devil.
Oh, glory. I talk about social distancing. I don't have any witnesses in this place. Y'all not ready to carry or fast like Jesus.
Wow.
You're all about the distancing, but are you about the witnessing?
Oh,
hey!
Oh my goodness!
You better call it,
Brody. Okay.
You knew this was going to be a problem today. Y'all already know what it is.
Listen,
I tried to do the intro, but Damani wanted to stop things.
Well, I had to make sure that they could hear me. That's all.
No, they don't need to hear you.
Okay? All right.
They need to hear the most important one. All right, and that is me talking about the app. Download the app. If you ain't got it by now, cut the shift. Okay, don't say you support. Cut the fothermucking shift. In fact. Don't say you support.
Why are you so angry, bro? Like I never understand the anger behind all of this.
There's no anger. Just don't tell me you've been rocking since day one and you ain't supporting. And then for those of you who don't know yet, like, oh, I follow this, but I don't follow that. And then you ain't been following. Okay? I didn't even know about that. Well, you ain't been following.
Wow.
What's going on with the drumcoaches.com? What's going on with drum? You ain't been following. That's what's going on.
Wow.
You ain't been staying tapped in. That's what's going on. So download the app. We have over 150 play-alongs that you can stream for free. Downloading the app is also free. Creating a membership is free.
Come on.
When you create a membership, you get access to over 150 play-alongs.
What else?
All of the past play-alongs, plus all of the new ones, you can stream for free
on
your mobile
device.
Yes, sir. Not on your laptop.
Come on.
Not on your computer.
Talk about it.
Yes.
Talk about it.
And you can stream it for free as long as you have mobile data plan or a Wi-Fi
You just gotta have some
connection.
type of internet connection, man.
That part. If you want to be able to download tracks and be able to play them when you're way out in the wilderness fasting like Jesus did, where there's no cell phone reception,
Come on.
you're going to have to sign up for the premium membership and pay $10 a month or $100 a year, where you will get 2 months free if you do the yearly subscription. And you'll be able to download at least 5 tracks per month. But not only that, it's quiet in this place. You can buy tracks after you download the free 5 ones, the free 5. You can buy tracks for 50% off monthly. So every month you get a new set of 5 that you can download. If you want more than 5, obviously it's 50% off per track. And we're not going to stop there, because see, the rivers are flowing of blessings. See, when praises go up.
What else? What happens? What happens?
I need you to tell me what comes down. What comes down?
What happens?
Blessings come down, and we will pour ye out a blessing that you will not have room enough to receive.
I don't know about you, Bishop, but my cup is running over.
It's quiet in this place. Not only do you get 5 tracks to download for free and 50% off after that, but you have access to not 1, 2, 3, 4, but all of our video content. I don't have any witnesses in this place. We have over 300 drumless. Ayabasa. We have
Shut up about a Honda, but about a Kia thing.
Featuring Enrique More Signocher. We have the modified shed camp. For those of you who feel like the shed camp was a little bit too much, we have the modified shed camp, and we have a brand new situation called the Do the Work camp. Because if you're not doing the work,
do the work.
If you don't do the work doesn't get done.
Period.
Oh, it's quiet.
Period. You
Now,
know what?
now,
I'm not gonna lie. I actually like this.
In our offering bucket.
Oh, see, now Sam is on to something. But this is the thing.
Yeah, come on. Put your offering in
this is the thing. I actually like you preaching the intro better than just being angry. This is actually better than what you normally do. So if you're gonna if you got to do this so that you're not so upset when we do the intro, I am down for that every time, bro. Like that was, hey, listen, I actually felt something. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I felt my help.
Well, listen, you gotta give them the information so that they can receive and remember, because for some reason we still get questions, the basic questions. Not a lot. Right. We're not gonna do the YouTube thing. We got a ton of questions. No, but we get quite a few. I would say that on a weekly basis, at least 3, between 3 and 7, that's asking basic questions where it's like, fam, we're telling you every podcast what is going on. Yep. Simple questions like, hey, man, I tried to download it to my laptop. It's not working. Download it to the mobile device. Cell phones, iPads, tablets.
That part.
Simple as that.
So listen.
He who has an ear, let him hear.
It's quiet.
No, you didn't. So anyway, we have our first special guest from our actual followers.
Come on.
Yes, we've had the homies come in and visit, and we've done interviews with them, but this is our first time doing it with an actual follower of us. We follow him as well. Not saying it like he's beneath us, but our first ever followers interview. We're going to bring in our bishop, our deacon, our reverend, utmost high prelate, Samuel Campbell. Oh, it's quiet.
Come on, give it up for Sam.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Listen,
thank you very much.
And I just want to say this. This is why I think it's so dope and so special that we have Sam on this podcast with us. It's because, like I've said before, there are a ton of other drum podcasts that are amazing. We've been featured on some, and we think that those podcasts are phenomenal. In no way am what I'm about to say meant to demean them or to knock them, because they do incredible work by interviewing some of.
Which means he's about to demean and knock them. But go ahead.
Stop it. They do incredible work. They do incredible work, and they interview professional drummers, famous drummers that are doing things that many of us dream about doing, and we get to take a look into their world through those podcasts. But this podcast is different in that we are actually going to be taking a look into the lives of those of us who are still on the journey, who are still trying to get from point A to point B, or maybe point B to point C, and not just from the mountaintop, but actually in the middle of the grind. And so that's why I feel like it's important to hear you guys' stories, and that's why we're so happy to have Sam, because not only has Sam been a follower of the Drum Tracks app and what we've been doing, he's also participated in the Shed Camp when we did the private group. That's when we first met with Sam, and he's been putting in work. Just because he may not be playing for Beyonce or whoever you consider the top gig is, doesn't mean that he's not playing gigs and traveling and working and doing his thing as well. So we're really happy that those stories get to be told. So Sam, bro, we appreciate you for taking the time out. We're honored to have you on the podcast.
No, thank you so much for having me. And like Pastor Sticks said, download the app. For he who hath an ear, let him hear.
It's quiet.
That you need to download the app.
It's quiet.
I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know who I am preaching to, but you are missing out. You don't know what you're missing until you downloaded the app.
Come on.
So seriously, get the app, guys. It is truly amazing, and thank you for the opportunity to be here, guys. Thank you so much.
So let's dive in, Sam. Like, because you play drums, apparently you've been through the camp, you've done the Shed Camp with us, the whole nine. What I'm wondering is, like, what's your background when it comes to music? Did you how long have you been playing drums? When did you get started? What inspires you to even play?
No, yeah, totally. Well, I come from a musical family, the McCrary family out of Youngstown, Ohio. And long story short, my mom and her siblings formed a group of 5 singers. And they began singing in churches all around the country, through the Catherine Kuhlman ministry.
I know who that is.
Yep. And eventually, kind of past that, they started touring with the Jackson 5.
I was going to say, because they was already the Jackson 5 of gospel, apparently.
Yes, and that was what they used to be referred to as. So my mom and Michael have the same birthday, and they were really close.
Wow.
If you watch his funeral, she's actually up there singing in the choir and actually directed the choir at one point.
Wow.
All the big choir pieces, Man in the Mirror, Earth Song, were arranged by my godfather, Andre Crouch, and my mom also sang on those as well.
First of all, wait, I'm sorry, but that Earth Song has something on it. That Earth Song.
There's an anointing.
Listen,
there's a feeling
that Earth Song got something. Listen, I remember being young, listening to that song, and I'm watching the music video. I was just thinking to myself, for some reason, I feel my help coming on. I don't know what's going on right now, but something.
Who is it?
My God, go ahead.
No, yeah, it's amazing, and again, that was the late great Andre Crouch and my mom, and a superstar cast of singers, like especially from like the 90s, them being a part of the first Lion King project, and all types of things.
Wow.
So and it's funny too, because my little cousin JD was the voice of young Simba singing and speaking in the last Lion King.
Wow.
So I'm very blessed, and I say this because God has been so gracious to us. But my story begins, I started playing drums when I was 2.
Okay. And
I love drums so much. I beat my mom's dashboard and cracked the dashboard.
Did she beat you and crack your behind afterwards?
She was quite understanding, a little bit demeaning, but she was very understanding.
Listen, if I would have broke my pop's dashboard with the drumsticks.
but she was very understanding. And we had our own family church, and when I started playing there, when I was 3, like just doing little stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And my mom used to take me out on the road with her all the time, whether she was with Andre or Tommy Walker or Chris Fowson or whoever. By the time I was 5 years old, I had played drums in Australia. I played in Australia when I was 5, Wow. And I just had a lot of experience just with different types of people. So very, very grateful, very, very honored. And then, as time kind of moved on, Mom started working with different artists, and I was growing up, and I was still playing, but I was more involved in football, as you can see the jersey back here. I got more involved with football, but I was playing drums at my dad's gospel church. He's an assistant pastor in Los Angeles, but also playing at my home church in Eagle Rock, which is a CCM church. So where my journey started to get a little bit hard was I was playing with these gospel things and started to get good at that. But then when I go to CCM, it's like, hey, nah, bro, you can't do that.
Right.
You know,
it's a whole nother thing.
And yeah, and I wasn't exactly clear on that growing up. So the whole thing is that I kind of struggled because it was like, well, do I play pocket or do I go in? Like, what do I do? And it was kind of difficult to kind of make the difference. So, you know, where, you know, you grow up in Black church and, you know, you learn things, you know, you're listening to Calvin, you're listening to Terry Baker, you're listening to all these people.
Mm-hmm.
When you can't express those things consistently, it kind of split my playing. So I kind of had to figure out, well, what am I going to do? And then football really took off. So I wasn't playing as much. So, but I was still keeping up with like some things, but like when I look back at it now, bro, I was garbage, absolute garbage. But I had talent and I loved what I did.
Okay.
So, you know, I eventually went to college, you know, JUCO, and then I went to Illinois State, and then I played professional football for a couple years for the Arena Football League and the Indoor Football League.
Got you.
And after like politics and, you know, stuff kind of ended that, pretty much what happened was and this is when everything started to turn around. After football ended in 2017, I saw the Justin Timberlake Super Bowl halftime show. And when I saw that, that was when I said, I am going to do this. I'm going 100% in on music. I'm not stopping. It's all music right now.
Got you.
And that's kind of when things started to kind of turn around for me. I had consultations with Brian Fraser Moore.
Yeah.
I started to be a part of a really dope Bruno Mars tribute band. Shout out to Earth to Mars. So I got to become the music director for that situation, and it was really cool.
Okay.
So my music stuff just kind of moved up. I was playing at different churches, and God was really providing. But then in 2019, when I got to a point to where I said, wow, Enrique More's signature is very good at drums, and I'm terrible. How can I get better? I see an ad for the Drum Tracks ad.
Okay.
And I saw an ad for the Shed Camp.
Got you.
And that's how my playing just kind of went up with you guys.
Wow.
And now I'm here. You guys are a very big part of my story.
Wow. Let me ask you this, because you said a lot in your story, and I got a couple questions. But before I ask mine, Drum Coach Somebody, did you have any based off of what you heard?
Yeah, I was going to save it for the very, very end, but I will ask you this. We know that sports and entertainers get paid a lot more money than musicians like drummers. I mean, unless you've been producing records and stuff like that for the Beatles and Michael Jackson. Most drummers don't get, real bread like that. But if you had a choice, hypothetically speaking, $20 million contract for the next 5 years, $4 million a year, play football or play the drums, what do you pick and why?
Woo.
I'm taking drums.
Wow. Quick answer too. Why?
Yeah. The reason that I'm taking drums is because, first of all, the thing with football was that the whole dream was to be able to provide for my family.
Got you.
And to be able to create, finances and income to eventually, get married and become more independent.
Right.
And if I gotta knock some heads, then I gotta knock some heads. That's cool.
Right.
Part. You know what it is.
You know what it is.
But but I would
y'all are nuts. But go ahead.
But I will definitely choose it too, because my experience with football at Illinois State, as well as with the Los Angeles Kids and the Sioux Falls Storm, was that there were a lot of mental struggles and battles that were unnecessary.
Right.
When you're constantly being threatened that you're going to lose your job, or you think that your name is the F word. You know, it's just like that doesn't work for me.
Got you.
That's not how I operate.
Got you.
And even with drums, and drums and music is still a very cutthroat business, but at least I know that I control what I can get better at. And I know that I have resources to help myself reach the next level so that I can be successful.
Right.
So I will choose drums every time, no doubt, but I'm thankful for my experience.
So let me just piggyback on that last question for part B for that, and I'll let you go, D. That mental state, that mental abuse, was it you beating yourself up, or was it coming from coaches and trainers and things of that nature? Was it internal or was it external?
It was mainly external. And then when I saw that it was starting to become internal, you know, and I could share this, you know, in 2017, I drove all the way to Florida with my best friend to go be a part of this developmental league. Come to find out, like, you know, my agent had never sent me a contract that I've been waiting on, but I didn't want to be late for camp. I got out to Florida and found out that there was no base salary, there was no living arrangements, there was nothing. And I pretty much wasted all of my savings. And the battle became so internal that I was starting to have, you know, life-ending thoughts. And that was a culmination of everything. And, you know, and I will say this, you know, for anyone that's ever experienced that or rejection, you can make it. It's possible. And that's what I had to tell myself. But when it started external, and then when it became internal, it was just like, oh man, like this isn't the way it's supposed to be.
Do you think that music helped save you from those thoughts?
Yes, it did. You know, it's funny because every time that football would go bad, no matter what state I was in, no matter where I was, there was always a church that needed a drummer. And somehow they would find me, and they were they either knew people on our team, or they just saw me just bobbing my head in the mall, and they were like, "Do you play drums? Do you want to play at our church?" Stuff would just happen. My team chaplain from school, you know, even though I wasn't supposed to be making no money at the NCAA, you know, all that kind of stuff, I was still making money while I was in college. And it was, I mean, it did save me, because it reminded me of, you know, I'm not a football player that happens to play drums. I'm a worship drummer that just happened to play football. And that's what I had to get to.
Got you.
Well, that was it for me.
Well,
go ahead, D.
So you mentioned a bunch of things. First of all, one of the things that you said, you're as far as your parents playing, or you know, meeting the Jackson 5, doing some things with Michael Jackson and things of that nature. Did you ever get to meet Michael Jackson in person?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, my first time meeting him, he tried to hold me when I was a baby, and I screamed. The second time that I met him,
hey, you will not be throwing MJ under the bus on this here channel.
Hold on.
You
Wait a
will
minute.
not.
Hold on, Deacon.
You will listen. We will leave MJ hate for Damani Rhodes. Okay.
First of all, I love Michael Jackson's music. That's just a fact. There's no way around that.
What do you think of Michael Jackson singing?
He's a legend.
He answered it for me. I don't even have to answer it. He's a legend, bro. Legend, bro. Like, how do you, like, I can't even take anything that he's done, musically, and reduce it to anything other than legendary status, bro.
That doesn't answer the question.
It does. You just asked me, what do I think about his singing? I think his singing is legendary, bro, and that's just facts on facts.
I will actually answer the question.
Thank you.
Michael Jackson's singing was extremely unique to him for who he was, and he accomplished everything that he posted.
Wait, it broke up on this end. Say that again. He accomplished what?
He accomplished everything that he was supposed to and I believe that he is a good singer.
See, there you go. That is Sam's answer, and I think it's valid.
No. That is the opinion of Bishop Deacon Samuel Campbell.
I just said that was Sam's answer, and it's valid, 100%. Me personally, what is my opinion? Michael Jackson is a legend.
All right, the floor is
Let
yours.
the great talk about. Here he go.
Bro, listen, I don't know why you keep trying to bring this up. Like it is what it is. At the end of the day, here's the thing. Michael Jackson is a legend. That is that on that. Sam cried screamed when Michael held him as a baby. We don't know why. He's not insinuating anything. Let's hear the rest of the story though.
It was a little frightening, my brother, but it doesn't mean that I didn't respect the man. But anyway, what happened was on Christmas of 2003, I got a call at 5:00 in the morning from my uncle Howard, who is an amazing musician, Howard McCrary. He called my mom and said, hey Linda, Michael Jackson wants a kids choir to come to his house in Encino to sing Christmas songs.
Okay.
And this is right before the court case was about to go down.
It was just bad timing.
Like a couple months in advance.
Just bad timing.
Yeah, this is very bad timing.
Gotcha.
And like I was like, I don't know.
See, but I mean,
then I said,
so here's the thing, though.
I
got to ask you this about this because, okay, it's one thing because like rich people are super rich and they do rich stuff, like have parties at their house, and you have to keep in mind that their house is much bigger than yours and mine combined, right? And so I've been to a rich person's house for a party and been playing cover band gigs. Like this person has an entire band that is amplified in their house, not outside in the backyard, but we are inside their house and we're not too loud and we're playing and people are partying because they invited a bunch of people over. So my question is, it would be different if Michael Jackson during Christmas time was having a kids choir to come just entertain him. But if that was part of a party where he had a bunch of people there, then it could make it would make more sense than Michael Jackson. Because when people say Michael Jackson was inviting a kids choir to come to his house, they're making it sound like nobody's there but Michael, and he just wants a bunch of kids to come over and have the kid. And I'm not sure that's the case. You know what I'm saying?
That wasn't the case.
Okay.
He had his whole family there. All the kids were there. I believe Catherine was there. Everybody was there. His assistant Grace, people all in his family. Everyone was there.
Okay.
And I said, okay, cool. So we went and learned some like some little arrangements of some Christmas songs, and then his people picked us up in these black SUVs and took us all the way to Encino.
Got you.
Wait,
did your parents come with you though? Your parents came with you?
No, it was my uncle and my aunt.
So you had some family, some adults that that was trusted adults to be with. No,
you gotta stop.
No, I'm just asking. I'm just asking because I'm trying to. Listen, I'm just trying to paint the picture that it was actually something that was reasonable to do instead of a bunch of kids went by themselves to Michael Jackson's house to see him by himself when that actually didn't happen, right?
Right.
Okay.
And it was really wonderful. And we got there and like we waited and we sang on his big steps that were in his house.
Got you.
And there was a grand piano in there. My uncle was playing it, and my special solo was on Heal the World. And if you really try to find out, there's no need to cry. Like that was my part.
Got you.
And it was really dope. But he was so excited just to have people there that were just celebrating Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And we got done singing, and Michael Jackson went to the restroom. And I remember that my mom said to go tell him that she said hi, because he knows her. Mm-hmm. So I followed him and I waited outside the restroom. And this is kind of away from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was he had came out, and I said, "Hey, Michael, my mom is Linda McCrary, and she wanted me to tell you hi." "Oh, Linda, I love Linda so much. Oh, how is she?" So we talked, and then we were just talking, and then like I said, yeah, and I think that you tried to hold me when I was a baby, and he was like, yeah, but it was just so funny because you were afraid of me, and I was like, yeah, sorry about that. You know, but
sorry about that,
but
bro.
then
You're pretty terrifying.
But then my help came.
It's quiet.
And I started speaking, and I said, Michael, I don't believe that you did anything that these people said that you did, and I just want you to know that I believe in you. And I went and I gave him a hug.
Wow.
And at first he was just kind of like no, but then like in the most sincere way, he just patted and just held me right there. And then we walked back and he signed my folder. And then we went and played bowling in his basement and a lot of games, and it was great.
Wow.
That was my experience.
Wow. You're one of the first people that I know of who've actually met and had a conversation with Michael Jackson, let alone be in his house.
Yeah.
That's wild. And you think that you would think that, you know, you would only hear a story like that from somebody famous, but wow.
Yeah. And look, but there's family ties, and you know, Michael was just amazing, man. You know, God bless him.
Wow.
You know, and
wow.
So
Sticks, you sound like you was about to say something.
I was gonna say, for any kids watching out there, let me be the first to tell you, don't you follow no grown man into no bathroom.
Very true.
Or don't even stand outside. Okay, it was a little sus, but we give Sam a pat.
It was outside the bed.
He listened to moms. If mom tells you to do something, moms tell you to do something to do it. So he was being respectful to moms, but just don't get any ideas out there, because you know.
Right. Of course, of course, the Drum Tracks doesn't recommend nor endorse foolishness. But,
But the funny thing is that he was about, like, right before that, right when that happened, I didn't know that later he was actually going on that famous interview that he had when he was wearing the light blue shirt with the silver sequins. And he was talking about the way that the police treated him and everything. And I didn't know that after our conversation, he was going to go be doing that. And
wow.
I was like, yo. So like, I felt like it was just really cool just to be able just to have that moment. So,
yeah.
But, yeah, man.
So let me ask you this. You, in your story, you also talked about how, as you decided that drums was going to be your path, you actually went and you had a consultation with Brian Fraser Moore, who if you don't know, he's a phenomenal drummer. He's one of the most successful drummers of all time. Like literally, like I don't know anyone who has had as many major gigs. That's what I mean when I say he was one of the most successful drummers of all time, playing for A-list artists after A-list artists, world tour after world tour, back to back to back to back for years, decades.
Yes.
And you actually, and he's on Instagram, and he also does consultations where if a drummer wants to talk to him about how they can get their career going, he does those type of consultations. But you had one with him, right? Tell us.
I've actually had two.
Wow. Okay. So tell us, and the people who are watching, what are some of the things that you learned from Brian Fraser Moore?
Well, with respect to our to the privacy that he asked me to have,
got you. Okay.
I can say a couple things.
Got you.
But pretty much what I learned from him was, as you're drumming, it's important to also be a producer. It's very, very important to produce your playing in a way to where it's effective, you know, to where it's versatile. And he was really honest with me about some of the things that we did. And I thought that it was amazing, and I highly, highly recommend it. Between Brian's consultations and then a few months later having the Shed Camp, it was almost like a renaissance in my drumming.
That's what's up.
Yeah, but Brian is a businessman, but also what he is he is an icon when it comes to how do you get the big gig.
Yep.
And really, all that it is just the consistency that you have to have as you're playing, as you're practicing, as you're doing all these things. But Brian was very instrumental, still very instrumental. I actually got to meet him a drum clinic at Musicians Institute.
Okay.
And yeah, but he was a definite mentor to me. My other mentor, Wow Jones, who's the MD for Post Malone and some other people, refers to Brian as the GOAT because he has really done it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The consultations are amazing. I believe that he has some new rates up for the whole COVID-19 thing, but I highly recommend it. Brian Fraser Moore plus the Drum Tracks app equals Renaissance in your drum.
Wow.
You can quote me on that. They're on the same level, and it's amazing.
Keep the compliments coming. Go on.
So, the last thing I wanted to ask you about, because after this, I want to give you opportunity to ask us anything that you would want to know from us, anything that we could help you with in your journey. But one of the things that you talked about is being a part of the hand speed camp, the shed camp that we did, and you got that. We only did this once, where we did the private group, where we were like hopping in there, and I was doing like daily updates because I was doing the camp with you guys, and Sticks will hop in and do a challenge with everybody, and we kind of got to build this community as we were growing together, and everybody in the group was encouraging each other, and people were making strides, and they're playing a lot faster than they imagined they could have. Tell me about your experience in during that 30-day period, and how you felt about it, and in what ways do you feel like you grew the most?
Most definitely. And first of all, let me say thank you to you guys for all the hard work that you put in. Seriously.
Appreciate it.
But I will say this. I really didn't know what to expect. And I'm going to tell you guys something too. Before I do that, I remember a long time ago when I was just curious about some of the things that I've seen drummers doing and, gospel chops and stuff. And I saw you guys' videos at first when it was up on YouTube, and I saw what you guys were doing, and like I was like, man, this is so cool. Like if I wasn't doing football, I'd probably be all over this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then it's just funny how after football was over, how everything just led me back to you guys. So that's a blessing in itself, and I feel my help.
Full circle.
But anyway, yeah. But when we did the 30-day camp, man, that was probably one of the most intense times, because what started it was I saw Eric's video of Frozen Toes that he did for his drum company, and I said, dude, I got to learn just how to just express differently. And when we started the camp, when it was to learn the moves and do everything, it was so precise. And that's what I like, is precision and accuracy, because you know what you're supposed to do. And I must say that my experience was great. I loved having Auntie Sheila and all those people in there, man. It was so good. I think that my favorite part of the camp was how you guys had it broken up in the section of singles, doubles, and then you kind of did more of the triples thing, for like the last couple days. So it's like, you do the singles for 2 days, and you do like the doubles, and then you move on to the 16-note triplets. And man, just skyrocketed me. I also loved how you guys were critical, but yet you were still loving, and you were still encouraging. Like when I was trying to figure out how to do my doubles faster, and it was like, that's kind of more buzz rolls, bro. Hey, but look, if you do it like this, because I was like, oh yeah, man, like I'm getting faster, and like he's like, yeah, that's more buzz rolls, bro. But if you play it on the floor tom, and you practice doing the doubles at a slower tempo, you're going to get the feeling. And I can say that my doubles have improved.
Yeah.
After doing that, I would move my snare, and I put my floor tom right here. It was like, boom, 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 boom.
See, and that's, and yeah. And
that was very encouraging.
It's crazy, because one of the things that we've noticed on people doing lessons on YouTube and different drum lesson websites, it's got to a point for a second where nobody wanted to tell anybody the truth anymore. Everybody was kind of like saying, well, it's okay, just it's okay. And we'd be like, wait a minute. What are we here for?
No.
Wait a minute.
No.
Actually, those doubles are not okay. And
they're not.
And if I tell you that they are, then I am actually not being a teacher. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. And so we wanted to make sure that we could, because at the end of the day, the whole premise of that 30-day camp was results and real results, and not fabricated results, not results that are based on a technicality of the fact that you're playing buzz rolls and not doubles. No, we want you to know that, hey, no, we're not gonna do that. But that doesn't mean that we don't think that you can do this. We just want you to know, try it more this way, and then you actually saw the results. And I think that is really extremely important to know for drummers who are out there practicing, trying to get something, because that has been one of the biggest pitfalls of YouTube lessons, is that they practice the lesson and they think they got it. They may have saw a pattern, maybe even from us on Drum Field Friday or whatever, and you think you got it, but you don't have anyone there to be like, yeah, bro, no, actually, no.
Right. Like, nah, bro. Like, it's not happening like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is the important thing. This is what I really want people to understand is what I feel like I should have gotten in football from my coaches, I got from you guys. And that's why it was really good for me to be able to, you know, have these experiences and to learn from you guys, because it's like, I don't know everything.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
And I felt like what I got from football, or what I got from you guys, is what I should have gotten from football. Not so much, you're like, oh, it's going to be okay, I'm going to baby you. But like, tell me what I did wrong and then give me a solution. I need solutions because I need results, because I'm trying to be out here and play.
Yes, sir.
I have a purpose and I need to express better.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, whatever I have to do, if I got to stay here all day just doing lesson 2, I still go back on my laptop. I got it on my laptop ready to go. I got the whole shed camp. Like, I'm ready. It's like, you know what?
It's also on
Doubles
the app,
wasn't
by
that
the
good
way.
in church.
Throwing it out there.
Yeah. Also on the app. Go to the app. Buy the app. To this word to the sponsor. Anyway, you know, but like, you know, it's super important that when you give people advice, that you also let them know, hey, but I'm also here to help you and give you a solution.
Facts.
People will give you criticism, but not tell you how to fix those things. And that's where
what we call
a
haters.
lot of those things fail.
Yep.
That's how you do that. You know, there was a particular company that offers drum videos, and they said, get your hands faster in 10 days. And I remember that I went and I commented on, and I said, I commented on Instagram, and I said, or just go to the drum track.
Oh my God.
because bro, I don't want you to make a promise that you cannot keep.
Wow.
You're talking about 10 days. I had to put in 3 hours a day for 30 days.
Yeah.
Sometimes twice a day.
Listen, if you do the work is undefeated. I got that one from Bishop's drum coach Somadi.
Bishop Sticks, I have been telling everyone that the work is undefeated for about a year now.
It hasn't lost.
And
talent's lost, though. Talent's lost plenty of times to the work. It's just quiet.
Talent, look, hard work will always be talent when talent refuses to work hard.
Period. Dot, semicolon. Hold on. I felt my help right there, Bishop. I don't know about you, but that right there is a word for somebody on this podcast on today.
Yeah, man.
My God, like, I don't know who I'm preaching to.
but also too, like, what is so cool is that after the shed camp was over, I went back to Drum Field Friday.
Come on.
And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I believe that there's a lot of people who have influenced my playing, from Philip Fisher with Fishbone to Michael Newble with Andre Crouch at the time, Bob Wilson, Brian Taylor, all these different people. You know, of course, Eric, you guys, but Aaron Spears is like, I just connect with him for some reason.
Yeah.
And when I tell you that I learned every hi-hat choke chop that I could find.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me tell you something.
Yes,
Let
sir.
me tell you something.
Yo, I think that Aaron Spears inspired chop video was like our biggest video ever, was it not?
I believe
Sticks,
it was.
how many views was that one on the Drum Coach's YouTube channel?
I think it was 150.
150,000 some years ago. Yo, it was a good one. I've still to this day I've seen kids playing it. Kids.
I'm still doing it. I do it every chance that I get.
Check it out, boo. Check it out. Yes, sir. Yes.
You know, listen, or the.
I'm gonna tell you, I'll jump in here. That thing is so old to us. That when I went live on IG last year and someone asked me to play it, I was like, I actually don't know it. I couldn't play it anymore.
That was me. That was me.
Yeah. Oh, you. Okay. Yeah. I'm asking like, what's the sticking? Because I don't know it. Like, can you teach me? Maybe I got to pull up Drum Field Friday. I know when someone plays it. I know when it's right.
Spam. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. Well, I know when it's played right. I just don't know it off the top of my head. I can't just sit there.
Or the other one was oh my gosh, like but then what's so dope about it is that you guys encourage creativity.
Come on.
So I've been able to come up with my own.
Listen, I almost ran around this room
from different things.
Creativity is such an important aspect.
It's about what will you do with what I gave you?
Come on now.
That's what it comes down to.
See, I believe there was a story.
I want to create my own.
I believe there was a story in the Bible where they talked about the man that gave 10 talents to one, and
you know what? Yes.
and he gave 1 talent to another, and he gave out his talents, and when he went away, and when he came back, they came to see him, and he says, "What did you do with what I gave you?" I don't know about you, but it is quiet. It's quiet in this place. I'm not gonna get amen. Walls.
It really is. Amen. But all of that to say that the Shed Camp opened up, and I think we actually did it twice.
Yes.
But the Shed Camp opened my eyes to it opened up my hands, my sticking, you know, going back and like watching the Monty do the Calvin Ryder stuff, you know, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like I go back because when you go back, take me back.
Yeah.
Because he makes all things new. Take me back to whence I first believed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's and that's what makes this whole thing crazy is because the Bible says that he makes all things new.
All things. Listen, he came to preach on this podcast this morning, Bishop.
Glory. My God, on today, Bishop. I'm not going there.
Yes.
Yo.
I told y'all it was gonna be a bad time up in here. Don't. I feel my head.
He said he did the Shed Camp, brushed up on his skills, and went back to the old chops and said, "Listen, let me see what I can dust off around here." I feel it.
Hallelujah.
Let's go.
That right there is the reason we did it, because at the end of the day, bro, there's a ton of people who watch the YouTube videos or whatever videos, even if they're subscribers on the app, on the paid videos, and they're watching all of our lessons that are on the back end of the app. Over 300 lessons, by the way. Shout out to the app. You'll go through a section and you'll be like, oh, I'm finna hit the urban drum field sections, and you look and you see there's 100 videos, and you start trying to learn one, and you realize your left hand is not developed enough to do it. That's when you go to our workout section, and we got workouts for days. That's when you go to the Shed Camp, and that's when you go to the Do the Work Camp, which is in their volume 1 right now, which is a new camp. That's when you go to these things to actually work on, to get the technical skills you need to be able to play the stuff. It's not that you can't play or put your your kick drum with your snare drum. It's the fact that we're requiring you to do 2 of them, and you can't do that in your left hand yet. So go on over here, learn how to do your doubles, and when you come back, now you can actually come back and execute on these other things that you've been trying to do in a way that actually sounds good. And that's what it seems like happened to you, and it just revolutionized your playing.
I come that you may have life and have it to the full. I'm trying to tell you guys, you know, it is seriously, it is really encouraging, you know. And I remember one time I was explaining to someone, you know, kind of the drum tracks app, and you know, like I'm a big guy, you know, most people don't expect me to, you know, be more of a thinker, but the thing is like I was like, it almost brought tears to my eyes how much I was so happy to be able to tell someone about this, because it changed my life.
Wow.
You know, it has really revolutionized what I've done. I told you about my testimony last night, figuring out 2 or 3 different ways to play the paradiddle diddle.
Yeah.
And it was all because I started slow. I started at different tempos. You guys have changed the way that I practice.
Come on.
The way that I think about myself. So, you know, and it's just so beautiful too, because the one thing that you guys really promote, and this is the biggest thing, if no one on this podcast hears me with anything else that I've said, please hear what I said. Your worth is not determined by how you play. And that was what really did it for me.
Yeah.
Because for so long, being in a performance-based thing like football, when someone doesn't like you, you get down on yourself.
Yeah.
And I just want everyone to know, because you guys see me put little things in the comments when I'm doing it and everything, but I want you guys to know, the way that you play drums is the way that it was intended to be. The Drum Tracks app is here to help you open it up. And that's why you need to get the app. You know, I refer to my style of playing and practicing as the Dragon Ball theory. I love Dragon Ball Z.
Got you.
You know, I love the characters.
Dope.
I love different things. But if you notice, they're so bent on training, going into the hyperbolic time chamber, going into a place where it's secluded, where there's no one else there, and they go in by themselves with the resources that they have.
Yep.
But also what I've learned is that even when I'm playing music, I'll come up with some things that I didn't know that I can do, just like when Goku or Vegeta are in battle, all of a sudden they reach a new power level.
Come on.
I'm telling you.
And then when Goku comes out, Vegeta looks at him and goes, "How is this possible? Kakarot."
How is this possible? I'm the Prince of All Saiyans.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I remember when Goku first turned Super Saiyan, the first time, I watched Goku power up for a week, bro. That if you watch these episodes, this dude powered up for a week just to turn Super Saiyan so he could actually fight. And he trained outer space on another planet to prepare to do that. Like, it's ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying,
I love this
bro.
Dragon Ball theory, bro. Keep going.
And that's the way that you gotta think about it. Hold
up. Oh, D.
Yes, sir.
You remember that video of the kid who said he thinks he can do
Oh, bro.
When that kid yelled at the top of his lungs.
And he had the Super Saiyan 3 music going on in the background.
Because he really believed in his heart that all things were possible.
Oh, Brody. That's what it reminds me of.
Oh, my goodness.
That's good stuff.
But then he looked.
Yeah, that look right there. Brody, so that was classic, bro.
And this is where it starts to this is where it starts to get a little deeper, because the Dragon Ball theory also said, like, when I think about it, and you guys have inspired this. The thing is this: when they fight against each other, it's a shed, bro. They're trying out all the moves. They're trying out everything. You got to do it. I wish that there were more people in Los Angeles that wanted to shed.
There's a billion people in Los Angeles that would want to shed. I would think there was. There's not.
bro, like no one, like it's just weird to me. But like I have hit up Darian Javon. You know what? I was even crazy enough to even hit up Eric before he moved to Las Vegas. I said, I want to shed. I'll pay for the space. Let's just do it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted it.
Got you.
Well,
because that, like I wanted it like that. Like I want to get better. I want you to absolutely outshed me so I can figure out a way to outshed you.
Well, I would say this. What I've learned with musicians that are like that, not saying Eric or Darian is like this, because I've never spoken to Darian, and I know Eric's not like that with myself. Right. But others, I have done the same thing and reached out. And I noticed from talking with people who are connected to certain folks, number one, LA is highly weird. You know what I mean? People are big on statuses. People, they look at you, they look down to you if you're not on their level. That's a thing. But skill-wise, unless you are, depending on how highly weird some people are, not saying Eric or Darian is this, Darian Javon is this, but others who I know for a fact are this way. If you're not coming to them saying, hey, I want to pay you to have a lesson, and then possibly, in the lesson, can we just shed a little bit and you can pick apart my playing? They're basically putting them up on a pedestal. They're not going to want to do it. Others also literally feel like it's a waste of time for me to even outshed someone who I am currently above. Like, what is it doing for me? I'm pouring into you. You're not doing nothing for me. I don't share with people that ain't on this status and higher.
True.
And some of those drummers aren't famous drummers, and they wear their hearts on their sleeves. It's not like they are hiding this thought process. If you follow them on their social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, they make posts. Well, in the past, this is drummers I've seen in the past. They make posts saying things like, y'all cats can't hang with me. I don't waste my time. They say it out loud, and that's how they think. Now, Darian has never done that because I follow him on Instagram. Eric has never done that. Obviously, that's the homie. In Eric's case, I would probably assume he was just extremely busy.
Yeah, he's been on tour for like the last 2 years.
Oh yeah, he was busy.
He's busy, but I know that I know people.
I knew it wasn't gonna work, but I was like, you know what? At least I was down.
Right. You're just showing that. You're showing how. So one of the here's the dope thing about Instagram or the internet in general is that it allows you to meet more people in your area that exist. And I think one of the things that Styx is saying that could be helpful in your pursuit to find more people to shed with, because you should still pursue finding people to shed with. And the way to do that, I think, was try to find someone who is on your level or a little bit above your level, because the idea is to exchange ideas. And just because you're shedding with someone that's on the same level as you skill-wise doesn't mean that you won't learn, because they may be doing things or thinking about things differently than you are. And they will play something that you'll be like, oh, I could actually play that probably. I just never thought to do that. And that is also one of the biggest benefits of the shed, because when you are, one thing that I also have experienced, because I've known the big homie Eric for a very long time, since I was a young teenager. And I remember watching him play, and even though I was sitting next to him, like literally I can reach out and touch him with my hand, that's how close I was while he was playing the drums, I didn't understand what I was hearing. It was just, at the time, it was just impossible for me to act. I mean, the more I was around it, the more you start to understand, but I didn't get it like that. And so it made more sense when I shedded with someone who was more on my level, who may be doing things that I didn't think to do, that's showing me what they're working on as I'm playing and showing them what I'm working on. And I can actually comprehend what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? But then as I continue, my ears continue to develop and I continue to develop, I can go back and listen to someone that it was on a much higher level than I was at the time, and actually begin to understand what I was hearing. I do that this very day with like records that I used to practice to when I was younger, and now I go back and listen from this perspective, and I'm hearing everything totally different. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's one of the main things.
No,
but I get where you're coming from with you're just like, yo, I'm hungry. I'm trying to share with anybody. I don't care if you're gonna blaze me. Let's go. That's the the mindset. And I think that's awesome because what you're doing is you're just seeking knowledge. You're seeking a way to grow, and you're trying to get outside of just yourself. Which is a beautiful thing. I'm just saying, like, when you just so you don't continue down a path of continually getting rejected, and we're just trying to give you a way that you can up your chances of finding someone.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I had actually hit up Eric for a lesson before he left with Eros
Ramazzotti
and Romazzotti.
Okay, my bad.
No, I'm playing. No, but I had actually hit him up for a lesson, and that was what I pretty much wanted to do. If he would have responded, because I know that he was busy, I would have told him that, yo, this is my email that I emailed you at. I just wanted to schedule the lesson.
Yeah.
Because we had already been in contact.
Gotcha.
And stuff like that. So it wasn't just like, hey, yo, I'm trying to sit, like it was just like, yo, like, like I'm curious. Same with Darian, because there was a time when he was just kind of chilling. And I just hit him up randomly. My little cousin sings in the Kanye choir.
Okay.
And he knows him.
Got you.
So, it was just kind of one of those things. But I was telling people, yo, like, for spaces or time, like, I got you guys. I just really just think that whatever right now, I just feel like, I would just like to lesson and for it to turn into a shed.
Yeah.
Something.
For sure.
Like there's there's people, in the community that are down. Like, obviously now with everything going on, it's not really possible at this time.
Right.
But I know that when things start coming up, I'm about to sound off on Insta like, yo, if y'all want this, meet me here and let's just do it.
Bishop, the freeways are clear. You can just drive on up north, Doc. We have kits here. So I mean,
I do see that, and I'm actually considering it. If my shows didn't get canceled, I think I would have had one in Northern California, I would have come up with a couple of days. Man, last time we were in Alameda.
Okay. Yeah, know where that's at.
So yeah, like all that they told me this year was that it was in Northern California, but they didn't tell me exactly where. But what I was gonna do is just like, yo, hey, job that I work at, I'm out of here for like 3 days.
Gotcha.
And I would have just came up earlier, and got with you guys and learned and did the whole thing.
Yeah. And for the low price of $2,500, you still can. That's the homie discount though. So you can't let everybody know.
Wow.
Charging that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That's for the homies only. Wow. 7,500.
Yeah, and I shall hold my tongue. I will be quiet.
Alameda is just about an hour 15 minutes from where we're at.
It totally would have been worth it.
Yeah. Brody, what kind of car do you have, sir?
I have a 2018 Dodge Ram Express.
Okay, so it's gonna cost you about $150
each way. Each way. Is that a V8 engine?
I was hoping you had a Honda or a Prius, but it's okay. It's gonna cost you about $150. But yeah, man, just drive on up, shed, and drive on.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that would be the dream, and I do believe that one day it's definitely going to happen because, like I said, you guys are heroes, man, and just such an influence in our drum community.
Appreciate it, bro. Real talk.
Yeah, I think also, Devon, going back to your question about the shed camp. I think one thing that was really, really cool were the challenges and Sticks. I got to give you so much credit on those, man. The 16th note challenge. Yes, people pay him double. Yes, when
so 2,500 times 2.
Wow,
is 5. Okay,
you right?
Did you say 500 times 2 is 5?
2,500
times
2 is 5.
Wow.
5 stacks. So y'all know what it is.
Wow.
I will put
Wow.
that in the form of a note that says God will provide.
Yes.
But anyway, but the challenges were so good, and even the ones that you did, Damani. One of Damani, I forget what it was. I think it was the West Coast loop that you played on that one. That one was so. It was so different for me because it was kind of like that. Like you were so amazing in that, and I remember playing that like 5 times in a row, just trying to get up to your level. Again, the Dragon Ball theory.
You talking about
I need a new power
it was
level.
in the shed, right?
Yeah, in the shed, man.
Because that West Coast loop is a triplet fill all day.
All day long, you know.
Bam. That's what that is.
That part and a Bing Baga.
Bing Baga. Guys got to Bing Baga. Guys got to the bam. That's what that is. So if you guys wanted to know how to play it, I literally just told you guys note for note how to play the lick.
Or you got bagga the booty, bagga the booty. Bagga the booty, bagga the booty. Whoa. Whoa. Where is your war cry at? Whoa.
You remember that joint? Yo, when I was in high school, bro, people used to walk around ooh, ah, all day on the campus because of that song, bro.
Whoa.
All day,
but
bro.
Yeah, man. But using that West Coast loop and then doing the thing with the left foot independence.
Yes, sir.
The 16th note challenge over Vislin or Vislin.
Violin.
Violin, yeah.
It's like island with a V.
Right. So like over that, man, like it was you know, and the track was so well done.
Oh man, I appreciate
so like yeah, so it's just like all those different challenges, man, were so good. And again, you know, it's and I probably would have asked you this in private, but I'm just gonna ask you now.
Go ahead.
Like, can you guys make me like a sticker to like put on my bass drum head so that when I go places people can see it?
You know, we have been slacking on the Drum Tracks merch like terribly bad, and it's because we've been actually trying to work on some stability issues with the app. So we've been like prioritizing things. But when we get this merch going, we will have t-shirts, we'll have stickers and all of that. But to us right now, the main important thing is making sure that the actual app is stable and is working for everybody so that they can continue to get access to the things that they've been getting access to. And real quick, while we're on that subject, if anybody that is paying for the app is having issues with the app, please send me an email, and I'm answering all those emails as soon as I get them. I'm not wasting any time. We're handling your issues if you're having them. And please know also, we are working like day and night. You guys will probably see updates that are going to be coming to especially on the Google Play side and on the iOS side, but there's going to be updates that are coming to the store for the next couple of weeks, couple of months, as we're continuing to work through things with our new developer who is stabilizing and shoring up some things that previously were not shored up by our other developer. And so we're just
give them the name of the email.
Oh, the email is Damani, Damani, that's my name, Damani, Damani, at drumtracksapp.com. That, if you send me an email to that, as soon as I get that email, you're going to hear back from me. If I have to go into the system and override something, I'm going to do it. Even if if I'm away from my computer, which we're quarantined, so I'm pretty much by my computer majority of the time, but if I'm away from my computer because I'm on a walk or something like that, you'll get a message from me letting you know, like, yo, I'll be back at my computer in 30 minutes when I get back from this walk. You will get your issue handled immediately, because we don't want anybody to feel like, you know, anything funny or fishy is going on. We're working on everything and we're getting it together. Oh, and side note, all of you guys who are on the Android side and were not able to download the app or couldn't find it in the App Store, we're back in the App Store. Doggone it. We're back. And that was 3 months of work, but we're back.
That's the Google Play. That's the Google Play Store, to be exact.
For sure. And so we're good.
That's dope. That's really dope. And you've actually done it for me. Damani actually did something for me in terms of overriding the system.
Yep.
And like the song says, if he did it before, he can do it again.
Listen, it's quiet, Bishop.
Stand up right now.
Preach the word of the Father. If he did it before,
Listen, it's quiet.
He can do it again.
Listen, y'all. We look.
Definitely appreciate you sharing your story with us. Hopefully, this podcast encourages those who are still watching to be on the next one or on one of them. We don't care what your story is. Maybe you didn't meet Michael Jackson. Maybe you just met Deacon Jones at the church. That's fine. Tell us your story. We want to hear from everybody, honestly. Every follower, fan, anybody that has been rocking with us for any time. We want to do this with you guys as well. And if you guys have questions for us, you guys can ask us whatever you want and let us know. And we do have 2 more guests that are lined up already. So please, you can leave me a comment. You can leave us a comment, not in the chat, but on the video. If you leave a comment letting us know that you want to be a part, I'll reach out to you ASAP, or you can email me at damani@drumtracksapp.com, or you can hit us up on the Drum Tracks app on Instagram or on Facebook. Just reach out to us, DM us, let us know like, yo, I think I want to be a part of it, and we would love to have you to talk about your story, to answer your question. So, are there any comments before we get to Sam's questions? We gonna run through real quick.
Yeah, because I actually did have one.
Oh yeah, we gonna get to your question, Sam, for sure, brother.
Oh yeah.
We got we got Blake the Great in the house. Tyrone.
Michael Jackson is a legend.
I appreciate y'all working out the Android issue. Yes, God, for sure, fam. Whoa! It says, "What's up, y'all? It's Dorama the drummer. I did away with the nickname. He got his real name out here. Adrian Herta's Music."
Okay.
Yep. Shout out to Julian Fernandez. Kenneth Chapman says, "I play at a CCM church and I feel your pain, but never ditch the pocket." That's what Kenneth Chapman says. RD Smith, or is that Smitty? RD Smitty says, "Michael Jackson is a legend." I agree, sir. Agreed. King of Pop, put some respect on it. Famous Cakes, is that his Famous Cakes? Really? He says he wished.
Which one?
FAMOUZKAKEZ.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we go.
Okay. He says I wish more people could hear this. Listen, we wish more people was hearing it too, but it's all good. We're grateful for you guys that are here right now. Tyrone J. Thomas says, "Be a producer while playing. That's a word." RD Smitty says, hold on, let me pronounce this. Ra ba ba Boshe. Come on with it, sir.
Yes.
Ra ba ba bo. Listen, these are the things that you will only find in the drum coaches or in the drum code chat comments. People comment in tongues in our podcast, bro. What is going on?
Someone finna turn that into a chop. Watch.
Ra ba ba Boshe.
I don't know when he felt it, but it hit me just now.
And you know what? There's a part of me. There's a part of me that feels like he actually rolled the R. Like it wasn't Rabba, it was Rabba Boshe.
Hey. He probably did it. He probably did it back when Sam got up and fanned the church.
That part.
I think it was the towel. It might have been the shirt, but he was fanning in the middle of the video. I said, "Oh my God, today."
Blake the Great says he heard a wise drummer say your talent can get you indoors, but your attitude can get you out. Facts.
Ooh.
That's
hey, Blake the Great's a beast, bro.
Blake the Great. If you want to jump on a podcast, you feel me. Okay.
No, quit playing. No, ain't no if you want Blake the Great. You doing a podcast, so get your life together. Download Zoom, and you hit us before we hit you.
Oh,
okay.
Goodness gracious.
And cut the shit.
You said two people's already booked.
Wait, did you hear Sam though?
No, what'd he say?
Sam told him to cut the shift.
That's right. Cut the shift. Blake the Great.
Oh,
you
my
be
goodness.
the third one after the next two. Let's go.
Blake
Come
the
on
Great
now.
says, I see Blake the Great says, I see Damani as a man of culture with that voice. I think it's the microphone. That's what I think it is.
No, you was doing the Vegeta voice when you did that.
Kakarot. That part.
I am a man, not a flower.
Listen. For those of us who have completely lost our hairlines, I respect Vegeta for holding on to his. He gives me hope. He gives me hope that I can make a comeback. He gives you hope
for a better tomorrow, huh?
Bishop. Oh my God. He's holding on, Doc. Holding on.
What's his name? Sam is weak right now.
All is not lost, Bishop. All has not been lost.
You know what? When you think about it, they did do Vegeta dirty because not only he was the prince, but he was not the strongest. Goku was. Vegeta lost all his hair. Goku had he didn't lose all his hair. He lost his hairline was receding greatly, and Goku had a full head of hair. Vegeta was single and Goku had a wife. Like it was just like.
Wait a minute.
No, Goku married Bulma and had Trunks.
No. Goku married Chi-Chi and had
Gohan.
Vegeta married Bulma and had Trunks.
Yeah, that happened. Yeah.
My bad. Vegeta had a chick,
but he didn't always have a chick. I'm just talking about in the beginning when he was pissed.
Yeah,
and he was really short too compared to Goku.
They say that Vegeta said in the series that a Saiyan's hair does not change from the day that he is born. So he was born with the receding hairline.
See, listen, curse from the womb. You know what I mean? Like that's the part. That's the part. And to make matters worse, Goku became Super Saiyan first, and when he did, his hair got longer. Like what? just to add insult to injury. Like not only am I going to power up on you, but I'm gonna dye my hair, and it's gonna be banging on yours even more. Like that is the disrespect, bro. The utter disrespect.
Bro, I'm telling you. But look, the Dragon Ball theory is the way.
Your audio cut out. Say that again.
Oh no, your audio is out. We can't hear you at all, Bishop.
Your audio is gone, Brody.
Maybe it's the earpiece. Oh, look at the picture, Brody. Look at the picture.
How did it switch? And you all of a sudden end up on the bottom now, and he's on the top. Did you see that?
No, I saw the
picture too. We can't hear you, but we did see the picture. That was hilarious.
Maybe your earpiece, the battery died on the earpiece. If the battery died on the Apple earpiece, that lets you know.
Hear me now?
Yeah, yep.
There you go. He's back.
That picture though.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, we hear you.
I'm sorry, because
that picture,
no.
Listen, that picture is now on the podcast, and people can rewind, and they will see. They will see Uncle Rich's pose. Brody, your picture popped up for a split second. It was just like.
That was good.
Brody, you're still our guy. Sam, can you hear us? Because you gotta stop. You gotta stop. Whatever you're doing, stop. Listen, that picture is now on the podcast, and people can rewind.
Hey, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, mute the video because you're watching the podcast live as well. Mute that so it doesn't play back.
Oh yeah, hold on. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
He don't even know. He don't know how bad it is.
I'm gonna try to use some different headphones or something.
No, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
No, the reason why it caught me so late was because okay, so I have it set up where my camera is actually.
Hold on.
My camera. Oh, hey, wait for him to jump back on real quick so we can hear. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I saw a picture on the podcast. That's funny.
That's okay. So I have two screens up. I have the screen up.
Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Hello.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So I have two. Screens,
okay.
I have two screens up, and so I have a screen up where it is the streaming software that we're using to stream, and so that's in actual real time. But the software for or when I'm looking at the comments, that's a delayed time on YouTube. It's slightly delayed, and so when I'm on looking at my camera because my camera's right here, which is in a different place than my computer because my computer's right here. So when the first time the picture came up, I barely got a glance at it by the time I looked, but I had the other screen up, and then later on it came up on the YouTube screen. And that's when I caught the glance. And then I was like, oh, that's what you're talking about. Oh my goodness. Bro, I didn't know that that's what you was talking about, because you was talking about that before we did the podcast, right?
Yeah.
That's what you were talking about?
Well, there was another one that he didn't like neither, but that was the one the night before I came home from college.
Brody, on his Instagram, he asked me, how do I... Listen, D, he asked me, he said, how do I brand my page to be about drums? I said, first and foremost, you delete those 4 goddamn pictures with this just all in the come on, man. Out. Hey, like brody.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Listen. I'm sorry.
That is hot. That is funny.
I'm sorry.
Bro, that is so funny.
Wow,
that is
God.
So funny.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to laugh like that. Sticks is because I just remember what Sticks was saying before the podcast, and then
yes.
It all hit me at the same time because I didn't really know what he was talking about before, but now I know. And yeah, I agree. If you want your IG page to be about drums, then you might not want to be trying to be Sexy Man George on your IG. But hey, maybe every now and then, because I mean I understand the drummer gets to grow sometimes. But,
hey, look, look, you know.
That was good, bro. I needed that. I definitely.
It's an icebreaker, man. It
was. Listen, that was good. I just want to answer this one quick question, and we can get to your question too before we go, because we have been on the podcast for almost an hour and a half. But Drummer Boy 1993, he said, "Yo, are y'all watching the IG battle between John P. Key and Bishop Hezekiah Walker?"
Oh yeah. I'll be on that.
I'd be biased though. I'm probably not going to be on it, but if I am on it, if I end up being on it, I'm already biased towards John P. Key. Now I'm not saying Hezekiah Walker didn't have some very nice gospel hits back in the day, but I'd be with John. Like,
I will go in Jesus' name.
That's Hezekiah Walker, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's I mean, he Wonderful Is Your Name. What's that?
Sold Out.
Nope, that's not it. I'm talking about an old one. Power Belongs to God.
Okay.
Shoot, man. I mean, but that Power Belongs to God groove was a groove that I learned when I was younger, and it was like a challenging groove, like because it's outside of regular grooves with 2 and 4, where the snares on that boom, and so you still had to keep the hi-hat going, and so I had to learn how to do that, and our youth choir was trying to do it, and I remember when the choir director came up to me and was like, hey, we want to do this song, and I listened to it, and I was like, all right, but I went and practiced it. But that it was so I get it. I have a lot of respect for Bishop Hezekiah Walker and his music. But if we gotta pick between the two, and one had to go, I'm rocking with John P. Key. That's just, I don't know. He's always been
Pastor Key is that one, man. And he's got the lineage of drummers behind him, man.
His whole bands though. In the beginning it was
Liddell.
That wasn't the beginning though. We going that's strength,
going way back.
Strength album. Like I'm talking about before he even had like real drums, and it was those electric drums. But when he went live and played live, he always had a respect for a dope band. You ain't never seen John out without a fire, not like a good band where everybody's good. No, these dudes are fire every time.
Killing, bro.
Every time. It's I remember when I met Kevin Randolph, who was MD during a Not Guilty album. And
yes.
I met him in LA because I don't know if he's still in LA, but he was in LA. He was I think he was playing at a church in Antioch for a second, but I could be wrong. Anyway, I met him in LA and we were just having a conversation. I didn't even know who he was, and then realized who he was after he told me what his name was, like literally 10 minutes after that. But and then went back, was like, hey, bro, wait a minute. So whoa, you mean to tell me from 14 years old, for me, that was you? Well, you know, I had that moment with him, but it was, come on. It's John all day. It's John
all day,
it's John.
bro.
It's like, it's not even close, bro. It's just not even close for me, personally. So, but anyway,
I feel that.
let's get to your questions. Let's rock with your questions. We got sidetracked by the picture, and we apologize.
Yeah. It's just one simple question. I so love in the lessons when like if it's about the 6-stroke roll, or if it's about the double paradiddle or the paradiddles, how you teach your stickings. But what I also wanted to know was, in terms of the surfaces to hit and finding different combinations. You know, because I've also done the Do the Work camp.
Yes, sir.
Which, by the way, if you watch my new video on Instagram of Ariana's cover that I did, I actually used the first exercise, the first exercise as a fill in that song. Okay. Anyway, what I want to know is, what would you do to improve on like finding different combinations of surfaces to hit that sound dope, or like how would you know, like, because some things just don't sound good. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, especially like last night when I was going over paradiddle, and a couple other things, I was like, that was trash. That was trash 2. Trash 3. That was pretty cool. And trash 4. This was pretty cool. Like you know, like a lot of things didn't work, and of course you got to keep experimenting.
Yes.
But do you think that you guys will ever come up with a section that teaches the rudiments in a way that you can incorporate them around the kit?
I'm going to let
even more.
I'm going to let Sticks answer that question, as he is our drum coach, the head of education on the app. Go ahead.
I stopped listening after he said simple question, so I don't know. Wow. I'm kidding. I probably won't come up with a section, but I can give you the answer. I should be charging money for this. No, one thing that I do is to be creative, because there's only so much you can do. Like, you want to play as fast as Ronald Bruner, but you probably are not going to be able to do that. But what can you do to be more creative? You could take patterns that you already know, like you're saying, these rudiments, and play them on different surfaces. So if it's sounding trash to you, my first recommendation for me, of course, slow it down, obviously, but then play it on those surfaces until it sounds good to you.
Come on, it's quiet.
Because it sounds trash to you right now because you're unfamiliar and you don't understand it just yet. But if you play it over and over, eventually it is going to sound good. You're not used to playing it that way. It's almost like when I switched my diet to vegan, the texture of the food is different, and you have to get used to it. You got to keep eating it until, you know, you get more comfortable with some of the stuff where it's like, yeah, this is healthy for you, but the texture, I missed this, I missed that. Yeah, I can't, it don't feel like ribs, you know what I mean? And it's not going to, it never will. Ribs taste like ribs. Ribs, the texture is ribs. And so sometimes the texture, you're not familiar with it. So if you do it over and over and over and over, slower pace up into a faster pace, once you get to the faster paces and watch it back, recording yourself, watch it back, what you do, you record yourself, you'll start to notice, that actually is dope. One thing I thought was always whack, diddles on the toms. I forever was like, no, you don't diddle on the tom. You single stroke it, and then you play diddles on your hi-hat or on your snare drum. That's it. Until I learned how to do this five note pattern that I like to do in my playing, and I do it off the floor tom. So my left hand is playing the standard 5-note pattern, which is right, left, left. But I do it off of the floor tom. Actually, the big homie Eric put me on. He said, man, do this. Put the right hand on the crash cymbal, kick with the crash cymbal, and then put your ghost notes on the floor tom. And I was like, you sure you're not talking about the snare? He's like, nah. Floor tom. Do it on the floor tom. Yeah. And because it's the floor tom, you are going to have to play it louder than regular ghost notes because
right.
And so he's like, bang, 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 bang. And when he did it, I was like, oh God, that's the Lord. That's the Lord. And and like I said, in my mind, you don't know. That is taboo. That is against the Church of God in Christ. That's like showing up wearing a dress and you're female. Like, no, you wear pants, or showing up wearing pants. The rules, women can't wear pants in the church. Right. So it was something along the lines of that. And then I had to sit down. Of course, I couldn't play it as fast as Eric. So I had to sit down and work on it, get it up to speed. And then from there, that was just a 5-note pattern. From there, I was able to do other stuff. So then I was like, okay, I'm just going to stay on the crash cymbal to my right and my floor tom and my kick drum. And I'm going to just play every pattern that I know between these and figure out what's more comfortable for me to play, obviously. But then listen back and on my videos, listen back and be like, yo, that part right there is absolute fire. What is that? Rewinding it. And oftentimes you'll look back and be like, yo, is that just a regular flam drag? That's it? That something you wouldn't think would sound good on your floor tom, crash cymbal, and kick drum. Flam drags, for those of you who don't know.
Go to the app. Go to the app. Go to the app. Go to the app.
Okay, well, I was gonna... The bluzda is a one-sided flam drag. So for those of you who know what a bluzda is, there you go. But if you don't know what a bluzda is, go to the app. We have bluzda lessons there. So I usually play that between my ride and my snare. I never do crash and floor tom, but I've done it on the crash and floor tom. I was like, yo, that's absolutely fire. A lot of stuff that I would play between my ride and my snare. Have you ever tried to do it between your mid tom and your hi-hat? Doesn't make any sense when you say it out loud. Like, why would you ever do that? Right. But listen back to it. Once you get it down, obviously, playing it over and over, it is dope. And then on top of that, I would say playing it with confidence, because oftentimes when you play shy or play like you're unsure of it, it does sound whack. Yeah. It sounds like, yo, that was terrible.
Come on.
But I've been in the room with Eric and he's played stuff where it's just like, you're so confident in what you're playing, it's dope now. Even if it wasn't dope. Like, if he decided to do a cymbal solo with no drums, he does it with so much confidence. And not just him, other drummers that I look up to.
Right, totally.
Bridgen, Tony Royce, all the other drummers we all look up to, Dennis Chambers, all of that stuff. They do it with so much confidence. It's just like, fam, I gotta respect it. It's like looking at that chick. She's not really that cute, but her walk is so confident. You're like, girl, listen, you listen, you keep moving them hips like that. Wow. I'm gonna take my pants off.
Whoa. At a certain point, this stopped being okay. I don't know what's happening here.
No means no.
Wow, you cannot. First of all, the drum tracks app does not endorse you pulling down your pants because you saw a woman that you felt was attractive. Wow.
That you already know and you've been rocking with. She kind of like you anyway, but I didn't give you the background. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, okay, you got to make that clear. You just can't get on the internet talking about pulling your pants down because you seen a woman walk down the street.
Brody, listen, he getting on the internet talking about going to Michael Jackson's house by himself. Okay,
no, he did not talk about that. He said he was going to Michael Jackson's house with his aunt and his uncle. His mom's ended up being there when he got there, and his mom's. You're leaving out details.
All right, but listen, y'all know what I mean.
I know what you mean. It's all good.
Ever in my life.
But I think I get what you're saying. It's more about being confident or finding the confidence in your creativity.
Facts.
Is that what you're trying to say?
And you gotta, and I'm also, and I think that this is another thing, a piece to add to that. When you're experimenting and you're in this creative phase, be okay with where you're at and have patience with yourself. You can't, just because you're experimenting and something doesn't work, hey, it may not work right now. You may not understand what you're hearing right now. It just may not click for you right now, and that's cool. Work with what does as you continue to experiment. Sit with stuff that feels uncomfortable as well. But if it continues not to work for you, all of this stuff is to taste. This is all like what you like, and you may find that you want to expand outside of what you're comfortable in, and so you'll sit with something that may not feel or sound or initially be what you would traditionally play, but you go in that direction because you're trying to get outside. But I would also say when you're doing this, make sure that you are open to the fact that you are experimenting and you are creating. It is that free area where there's kind of like no rules. You're just sticking with, hey, I got this pattern. What can I do with it? And the one thing that Sticks didn't mention that also helps is, let's say you find you find a pattern and you may not like it when you play it. Displace it. Don't just play it on the downbeat of 1. Displace it by a 16th note. Then displace it by an 8th note. Even if you find a pattern that you do like, once you figure out the patterns that you like on whatever surfaces, displace it. And take the patterns that you didn't like on a certain surface and displace it. And what you will find out is, okay, if I displace it here, that means I have to shorten it, because if it was a full 16th note lick, then I will end up on the E of 1 of the next measure. That's where I'll be crashing, so I have to cut a note short. Or if you displace it, 4 beats up, or when I say 4 beats, I mean 16th notes. Now you have 4 beats that you have to make it shorter. Or you can say, I want to start it 2 beats before the 1, which now means you need to add 2 beats at the end of it. And so now you're really getting creative with this pattern on how you will get it or orchestrate it around the kit. Because you can play the same pattern twice. Let's say it's an 8-note pattern, but you're doing 16th notes. That means you got to play the pattern twice to get through a full measure. But let's say I'm going to start.
Got you.
But now let's say I'm going to start on the and of 4. So now I got and right, which is 2 beats before the downbeat of 1. Now you're going to play the same pattern twice plus 2 more 16th notes before you go to the 1, which means you'll have 2 16th notes of the beginning of that pattern. And so now you're experimenting with this pattern, not just with what it does, but through the space and time of music, and then your time signature and whichever you do. Now you can say, hey, I'm gonna try to put this pattern in 6/8. I'm gonna try to put this pattern in 5/4. I'm gonna try to put this pattern in a shuffle groove. I'm gonna try to put this
right.
You see what I'm saying? And so when you start doing those type of experiments with it as well, you can literally take one pattern to its furthest extent, especially when you start modulating it and you start moving it around through different types of places in the bar. So
man,
that was the other thing I wanted to add to that.
Yeah, no, thank you, and thank you for answering my question. I'm realizing that it's in like being in a place where you might not get it right a lot is so good, because me as a hands-on learner, I need to fail so that I can understand.
Sure.
Because where there's understanding, I think the word says that wisdom lifts her head. So I want to gain wisdom and understanding through my mishaps or my failures, and figure out ways to combat those things and figure out dope patterns and stuff like that. So that was really the only question that I had.
Dope. Well, I'm glad we was able to answer.
Deacon, Reverend Prelate of the southern region of California.
Wow. Man, I so appreciate you guys, man. And like I said, I don't claim to, be the best or to be, on a level of anyone, but what I do claim is to be the best that I can be. And I think that that's something that you guys have definitely helped me figure out and walk in. And I'm just eternally grateful. Everywhere that I go and people ask me about drums, I always mention you guys first. I actually gave a pastor at a church $10 just to sign up for the app because he wanted to learn how to play drums. That's how much I believe in.
Wow.
Well, he definitely kept that offering for himself.
He probably did, but God sees. You can look at Ananias and Sapphira.
Wow.
Look at what happened.
Yeah, we know. What
anyway,
happened. We know what happened.
Bishop, since you know how to preach, you can come on up here and join. Be one of our ministers on staff at the New Jerusalem Missionary Baptist Church of God in Christ.
The New Jerusalem. Yo, listen, we got to get out of here, guys. It's been cool rocking with y'all. Shout out to Sam. Yo, Sam, tell them what your IG is, where they can find you.
Yo, I am at Captain Battle Axe. That's Captain Battle Axe with no E. Got a new cover of Into You by Ariana Grande. Really dope. Check it out.
Yep.
Love you guys so much.
We'll leave.
Thank
We're
you so
gonna
much.
leave his Instagram and stuff in the description as well, so you guys can go back. It'll be up in about 30 minutes. So we appreciate y'all for rocking with us, man. We're gonna catch y'all next week with our next special guest. We're not gonna tell you who it is. We're just gonna surprise y'all. And
hashtag all the way through.
You know what it is.
You know what it is.
Hashtag share this video with everyone that you think would enjoy it, and all those who would hate to watch this video. Share it with them as well.
All right, y'all.
Hey.
We out of here.
Let's go.
Peace.
Appreciate y'all.